Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope I find everyone very, very well. Hope that everyone had a great Christmas if you celebrated, and also an even better New Year's. So let's get the usual out of the way. Remember, guys, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And since these are general readings, they can either, the energies can either be coming directly from you or be happening to you from an outside source or from a person, for instance. And the energies can switch over upon any given instance. So remember to always just take what resonates and leave what doesn't and what fits for your unique situation. And please do not force anything. If you'd like to book a private reading, check the description box with a link there to my website. Or you can just visit intuitiveperceptions.com under the services tab. And yeah, book yourself a reading if you are so inclined to. Let's go ahead and bless the decks and we'll get started. Beloved God, I open all channels of light, north, south, east, and west. Guardian angels of the four directions, high councils who serve the holy law of one, holy pure ones, please anchor this space in your divine consecration to provide Pisces with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, Father. And please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay every single message as they are meant and or intended to be. Okay, Pisces, so I haven't seen these two cards at the ends here, so this is going to be your advice cards, basically. So in traditional tarot, we have the Knight of Wands reversed, Two of Swords reversed, 10 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, the Star reversed, and the 6 of Wands. So far I see that maybe you could possibly be dealing with a Libra. You could maybe be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or possibly an Aquarius. So I can see here that possibly you made a very rash decision, I feel. You made a decision that possibly was a little rushed. I feel as though you may have kind of played with your karma a little bit, or I'm kind of picking up, you kind of snuck back into a situation or a partnership or relationship, whatever it may be for you today, that you kind of knew, Pisces, was maybe, or has been, or both, the detriment of you possibly in the past, also possibly even now. But I feel as though that you made this decision, like I said, on a whim, and kind of just with an element of hope, I feel as though. But the only thing is, Pisces, that this experience, relationship, partnership, whatever it is for you today, has taught you in the past that things don't really work out the way that you necessarily maybe wanted them to, or things didn't work out the way that you envisioned them to. And I feel as though, Pisces, that you kind of jumped back into this ordeal here. And I'm really picking up here too that the worst has come, possibly, or the worst has presented itself now. And really picking up a sense of devotion as well. But this devotion, Pisces, are you getting it back in return? Is there a reciprocation of this devotion? Is there something about it or about them that you just can't seem to really get a firm grasp on? When I say that, I mean in terms of how things always pan out, or how things have panned out. And I feel as though, Pisces, that you went back into the situation, or you jump back into it because maybe there was possibly a little bit of unfinished business you feel, or also you maybe possibly feel that there was something that needed to be said or done this second time around, or third time, fourth time, whatever it may be for you today. And I also feel, what I'm picking up on is that these situations, or this person, is slowly starting to kind of show you, or you're starting to come up to or with the conclusion that the time has come where you just need to let go now. The time has come where this ordeal has kind of ran its course already. And I'm also feeling like this was sort of planned out. I don't really like to use the word planned, but it was sort of orchestrated, let's say, by the universe, by God, by your higher source. And I don't want to disregard your feelings in terms of what came from it, or what transpired, and also how it made you feel. But I feel as though that there was some judgment here in terms of, have we learned our lesson? Have we grown from these or this past situation? And I'm feeling as though that this may have came or come as a surprise, in a sense, for you. And I feel as though with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius this past December, I'm feeling as though that it was a review for you. It was a time where you needed to take a look at this situation or ordeal one more time and just kind of jump back into it to get I was almost about to say an expected result. I'm not sure if Spirit wanted me to say that, but that could be what it is. I feel as though, Pisces, that you needed to go through this again in terms of the experience to remind you why we don't need to be doing this, why we don't need to involve ourselves within this situation. And I'm feeling as though that you were pushed in this direction to kind of show you, Pisces, that what we conjure up in our mind and what we entertain in terms of situations that really don't serve us or have proven to not serve us in the past has really shown you now, because of going through this again, or going through this with your first time, whatever the case may be for you, that what we believe and what we entertain in our mind and what we conjure up is what we will be presented with, and what we will continue to see if we stay on the same path, the path of return. I'm really feeling like this is a return for you, whether it's a circumstance, relationship, or partnership, whatever it may be. But I just feel like this is this was showing you why you left in the first place, or why things didn't work out in the first place. And I feel as though that you may have felt like when this didn't work out, you felt like it was a little bit unfair, or maybe there was a little bit of martyrdom kind of attached to this, or there was a little bit of feeling like you got the shit end of the stick in a sense, or you got something was unfair, or that you weren't treated right, or something to that effect, I feel, when you went through this initially. But I feel as though that now, after the review and after going through this possibly again, I feel as though you now realize and you now see what happens when we really get what we want. And it may not necessarily be what we need, but when we get what we want and we go against our own good, or against our own gut, against our own intuition, you're going to see time and time again if it's the same situation, you're going to see time and time again that the same result is possibly going to come from it. Now, there are circumstances and situations and exceptions to the rule, of course. But I'm feeling as though with the Ten of Swords here that this is pretty much it. This is pretty much done. We're at the end of trying. We're at the end of hoping for the situation to possibly get better or be better at this point. And I feel as though you may have been stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of choosing this or in terms of going through this again. And I'm really also feeling that you are realizing who's really there to pick you up when you hit the bottom. Who's really there when you repeat mistakes. But yet, those that are around you, that stick by your side, they're still there, that help you out, and that don't judge you based upon redundant choices or decisions. And I'm also really picking up that through experiencing this, you now understand that there's an aspect of you that you really now are coming to terms with. With the Six of Wands here, that's what I'm kind of picking up on. Through this situation or circumstance, there was a loss of hope. And it was kind of like hitting rock bottom with the Ten of Swords here, seeing the situation for what it really is. And seeing, I'm picking up karmic, seeing this karmic situation manifest into what it has and what it is, and then losing a sense of hope from the situation. But with the Six of Wands here, I'm feeling like you learned something about yourself, and you learned to appreciate certain aspects of yourself, and you also understand yourself a lot better from the situation. I'm also picking up that this was divinely set up. And I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit condescending, but that's not really my intention here. You guys know that's never my intention. And I feel as though that through this, you learned the value of who you are. There was something that you learned. There was an aspect that you didn't see in yourself that caused you to not feel the hope or to have hope. Not just hope in this situation working, but hope in healing yourself. You found this aspect. And now I feel like you've reached a pivotal point within your life in terms of relationships and what you give out and what you work on with the Eight of Pentacles here. And what you manifest based upon a perception of yourself, based upon how you view yourself. And I'm also picking up on how you were raised as a child. The expectations that you have or had from your parents, whether it's from both or one. And you see that there's a connection between how they parented you or he or she parented you and what you expect from other people in terms of your relationships and partnerships or just any circumstance in general. And I feel as though that you needed to kind of go through this a little bit. You needed to do this one more time, I feel. And I also feel that you now see how important it is to really always check in with yourself and to stop yourself and to refrain from repeating, redundant mistakes that kind of come and go and come and go, and it's the same result. And I'm also kind of picking up here before we reveal the advice cards here that this is something that you're going to carry with you for, I feel like, the rest of your life, or until it no longer serves you. It just depends upon your situation, and it depends upon your personal growth, the evolutionary shifts and growth of your soul. And I'm also picking up too here that with the Eight of Pentacles here, you're now going to work on the Six of Wands. You're now going to work on the things that you deserve to be recognized for. You're going to work on that aspect that you have found from this situation or this circumstance or partnership or relationship, and you're going to strengthen it. And I feel as though that this karmic situation kind of had to unfold to help you or to aid you in the process of realizing this. And how important it is to always remember to be vulnerable with yourself, to be honest with yourself, so you can leave room in your heart for growth, and you can leave room in your heart for only accepting and exhibiting your truth and what's really there for you and what needs to be there for you. Because when we don't have that honesty or maintain, most importantly, the self-honesty with ourselves, that's when we tend to hit rock bottom in certain situations. And the Ten of Swords doesn't just happen overnight. This is something that happens over time when things are neglected in terms of how you handle situations or you look at situations or what you expect from them. But there was a growth here because I feel like with the Two of Swords reversed and the Six of Wands upright, that you were stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Going back to this relationship or starting this circumstance, whatever it may be for you, just starting it again or starting it initially. And you were stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of doing that. But then when you learned about this aspect, you were then stuck between a rock and a hard place to then be honest with yourself, which then helped you gain that respect for yourself, or you found that aspect. You understand what I'm saying? I feel as though that there was kind of the law or rule of opposition here, but it was in your favor. May not seem like that now, but you'll see that as time goes on. Let's see. Seven of Cups reversed. Okay. And the Hermit. Okay. See, that's where I was going with it. I was picking that up. So, when we finally realize, Pisces, that we need to work on our shadow side. We need to work on ourselves in terms of the decisions that we make and learn from them. And when we reach our higher self, like the Hermit here, you could maybe possibly be dealing with the Virgo. And Virgo actually is your opposite zodiac sign. So you can learn quite a bit from Virgo. And if your moon so happens to be in Virgo, that means that your shadow side is also involved with your emotions. Like maybe if your moon is in the 7th house, especially if it's really close to your descendant line. And when we reach our higher self, or when we are in constant communication with our higher self, with God, who or whatever it is that you confide in terms of your spirituality or religion, whatever it may be for you, when we are in constant communication with them and we solidify a relationship with them or with it, but most partly with yourself, and we gain enlightenment and we stay on that maybe solo path of understanding, is when, Pisces, we can make decisions for ourselves that actually serve us, that are in our higher good, or that are for the best for, or that are the best for us. And when there isn't any more illusion of success, when that part of who you are disappears and it dwindles away. Because there's no more illusion within our decisions, because we know what we need to do in terms of making the proper decisions for ourselves, because we are in contact with our higher self. When we learn from experiences the first time, sometimes it takes a second time, the third time. I hate to say that we should always get there or come up with the answer in terms of the solution or what we need to learn from the situation fast enough. But however long it takes you doesn't really matter as long as you really get there. But those times when you try and try again, you shouldn't completely lose or an understanding of who you are every single time that you go through it. I'm really picking up here too that or what I'm being told right now in terms of some sort of guidance, maybe a song for you. It's a song called Every Little Bit Hurts by Brenda Holloway. You should really hear that song, Pisces. Even though the song does talk about coming back or the other person coming back to them because they'll be better, but I mean just the idea of every little bit hurts. And I feel like that's what it is here. But we can heal ourselves. We just have to know that we can. We have to trust in ourselves. We also have to know that we deserve to be healed. Because you do, Pisces. All right, let's pull a Jesus card. See what he has for you. All right, we have a bunch that popped up for you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Matthew 6:34. Judge not, that you be not judged. Matthew 7:1. Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Mark 12:30. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. John 14:27. Okay, Pisces. I feel as though that the message is pretty clear here. We shouldn't try to enforce anything, Pisces, in terms of how things should be or how we want to see them happen. Yes, we should always go after what we want. But after going after what we want multiple times and it hurting just a little bit more when things don't work out upon every single instance, it's probably not for us. And when we continue to try and it hurts and hurts and hurts every single time, hurts more, we need to probably back up from that and really see that as a lesson. And also not look at the situation in terms of, why can't I do it? Is there something wrong with me? Why doesn't this person or the circumstance or situation not accept me? It's really not what it is. Yes, we should always look at our role in what we played in it. But I feel as though that don't judge yourself, and let's not judge other people as well during the process. Because when we do judge, and when we try and force things, it has to do with a little bit of fear. It has a little bit to do with being afraid in terms of searching or going upon or starting something new. Because comfortability is okay, but at the same time, comfortability also leads to complacency. And there's no growth in complacency. So I feel as though that you shouldn't be afraid of change. Embrace change. It may not be something that's very enjoyable or a jovial experience while you're changing, but you'll see that when things work out the way that they're supposed to, when we don't take any thought for what happens tomorrow, because it'll all work out the way that it does, that's when we won't walk around with a troubled heart. That's when we won't walk around with our head held down in shame. Because if you do everything out of love, not just for yourself, but for other people, and not judge, things will work out the way that they're supposed to. And I feel like that's why the Hermit card over here in the corner came up for you in terms of your advice. It's think a little bit differently than maybe we have. And let's put our faith in God. Let's put our faith in your higher self, in who or whatever it is that you confide in. Because that will assist us in making those decisions that we need to make that are for our good. All right, Pisces, you'll be okay. It's just going to take some time, but let's not repeat this, okay? All right, Pisces, we'll see you next month. Happy New Year.